Welcome to another budget-friendly video. There's really only one exception in this entire pile of various PC pickups. Everything else was $50 and less. Most of them were under $20. So, including shipping, tax, all that good stuff. But it's really a quite the interesting group of additions I've been able to make. Some ones you're expecting to see, some players you're expecting to see, some that you rarely see on this channel, but that's more of a budgetary constraint, and I don't really search for them that often. So, let's start off with the outliers, if you will. So starting off, we have a 1916 M101-4 blank back from the Lionel Carter collection. This is an SGC2, but it's an amazing SGC2 of Chief Myers. I honestly don't know how that got a 2. So, great card. Early card of Myers. Do have a few others, but I like the underrated catcher, and when he was with the Giants, was Christy Mathewson's catcher. So this is a Kiner, and Kiner is usually very inexpensive, as I've repeatedly informed you of over the time, and I'm sure as you've already seen. But this is a specific postcard I've been trying to get. This is postmarked June 28th, 1955, when he's with the Cleveland Indians. His final year, signed as basically a favor to his best friend, Hank Greenberg. So, another nice Kiner auto on the cheap. Now we get to some kind of interesting hodgepodge of items, if you will. So, being an Arnovich collector, there's not a whole lot of cards that were ever produced of him, whether during his playing days or since then. So sometimes I pick up little things like this, little newspaper clippings. This is 1937 Who's Who in Baseball, just the panel of his picture. This is 1939 All-Star Profile panel. He was leading the league in hitting at the time and still did not play in the game. Also, another 1939 Sporting News All-Star panel with Joe Medwick. And for Arnovich, the last one is 1941 Who's Who in Baseball panel. And you have Georges in the back. But they didn't even bother to update the photo, even though he was traded by the Phillies to the Reds in 1940, got a World Series ring, then was released by the Reds and signed with the New York Giants in 1941. But he still has a Phillies hat on there. Then we also found a couple of Hank Greenberg ad panel things. 1934 Spalding panel. And a 1938 Spalding panel. I also found this, for lack of a better term, interesting. 2015 R423 reprints, fantasy things. Gypsy Oak, greenback. You have Greenberg there. Berra, Ted Williams, a few other players. But just an interesting kind of oddball to add to the collection. This is an interesting one because I just don't see these a lot. 1936 Who's Who in Baseball advertisement. I've seen the publication many times. I have one in the collection, but I hadn't seen one of the advertisements. Full page ad on the back of a premium. There's a Leo Durocher premium on the back of this, or insert, I should say. So I haven't been able to find these too often, so I picked it up. And then continuing trying to fill in the Wheaties panels I've been missing. This is 1938 Wheaties Series 11 with Roxy Lawson eating some Wheaties. Not the greatest condition, but solid. And it does fill a very nice hole in the collection. So this was next up we have a couple Hanks from a lot of photos I got. This was kind of personal photos from 1953 spring training. And all of these have a studio stamp on the back. And this one has the writing on it specifying that Greenberg is the owner of the Cleveland Indians in 1953. And then this is a nice little candid shot of the whole team leaving spring training in 1953 with Greenberg right in the middle of it. So, interesting photos to add to the collection. Alright, coming up, we have 3 Rosens and a rather interesting clipping to go. So this is a Type 1, just someone took a photo and had developed either 1951 or 1952 spring training, Al Rosen. And the way I was able to date that is in the same group. There's one with Bertie Tebbetts, who only played with the Indians in 51 and 52. So I want to say it's 1951, but I'm not 100% sure about it, so I got to put both dates on there. And then this is an interesting photo taken in May 27th, 1954, Type 1, top batters in the AL. And that's Avila on the left, Rosen on the right. Rosen leading in all power categories, essentially. Avila leading in batting average. But definitely an interesting pose, to say the least. And just something very, very unique about this image. So, picked it up, was not expensive. Add it to the collection. Now this was one where I got basically all the other clippings from. I showed you earlier. But this, unlike the others, which were a buy it now or best offer, this one the seller actually put up for auction. So it was a matter of reaching out to the seller, say, look, I'll give you this amount, slightly higher than the opening bid for auction, which I may have won over time. But for the sake of just getting it done with, it was reasonable on my end and obviously reasonable on their end. So, made the offer, he ended the auction, and I was able to buy it for what I proposed. And so this was the first piece, and I added the other pieces as a kind of joint shipping. And I was looking at the other ones just to add interesting pieces. This is a 1937 Louisville Slugger Graduates ad. So, as Arnovich is 1936, but this is published in 37. Center fielder for the Phillies, replacing Phil Weintraub. So I figure it's a very interesting and very early piece for Arnovich's career, and it's the first time I've seen this advertisement. So my hope is one of the services will actually slab this up. Don't know if it'll actually happen, but I would like to get it in a slab because it is a really, really interesting advertising piece. Very clean, and again, there's not a whole lot of Arnovich out there that was ever produced on the mainstream cards and things of that nature, premiums. So a lot of what I add here and there is photos, programs, advertising pieces, even like little snippets I can find, autos. Kind of have to have a little variety in what you include in the collection. So that is the final edition I have for you. It's quite the interesting mix of items. At least I think it is. But it's all PC editions in one way or another. Mostly primary PC stuff, but there are some kind of the outlying pieces, and obviously did get some photos to fill things in. But a nice little collection, pretty inexpensive. The one exception being the Wheaties panel, which are just tough to get, and they're always going to be kind of going up for those of us that enjoy the oddball things of the pre-war years. So anyway, that's what I got for you this time around. Until next time, please remember to collect what you enjoy what you collect, and don't let anybody, especially the market or YouTuber, dictate that to you. And most importantly, have fun. And have fun by being active in this community. So find your way of participating, whether it's making videos, watching and commenting, going to live streams, group chats, going to your LCS or local card show, or simply talking about the hobby with family and friends. The more you put into it, the more you'll get out of it. The more you'll learn, the more your PC will grow, the more people you'll meet, and the more fantastic friendships you'll form. So I thank you very much for joining me. Hope to see you again. Have a good one, and bye for now.